It's happening. Oh my God, it's happening. Demo time is here. Who's excited? I'm excited. All right. So demo time, for those who don't know, is an exciting time when we get to actually really support our community, and they can come up and share with us things that have been going on. So today we normally have 3. We have 2. Two's good. First one, I know more than the second one. It's Intagly. We've got Zach Gonzalez.
Correct.
Right, with Intagly, a 3D printing startup that's really, really cool. So one of the things I like to do is acknowledge the fact that it's hard to present. And one of the things about demo time that's fun is sometimes there's mistakes. Sometimes the screen doesn't work. Sometimes all sorts of things will happen. I think it's going to go pretty smooth today. But each of the presenters will get about 15 minutes. And when I start doing this, what do you think I want you guys to do? All right, we'll practice. All right, it's good. So what we do is we drown them out while they're talking, and that way they know their time is up. It's very kind of us, isn't it? And so the format is basically they'll get 7 to 10 minutes to present, and the remainder of their time is for Q&A. We ask Q&A, and we always try to be supportive, but we don't mind the hard questions because we love our friends here. We want to prepare them for the world out there. So without further ado, I introduce Zach Gonzalez with Intagly.
Perfect. Hello everybody, I'm Zach Gonzalez, as Josh thankfully said, and I'll be presenting Intagly, which is a 3D printing startup and service here in Las Vegas. So we are a peer-to-peer 3D printing service, meaning that all of the 3D
Zach,
printing...
I have to give you a hard time.
Yes.
Louder!
Louder.
Command
okay.
the room.
So we are a peer-to-peer 3D printing company here in Las Vegas, meaning that all of the printing is done by local people in the community. So what happens is a print job will come in and it will go out to somebody who's signed up on our app who has a 3D printer, and they will print out and perform the job. And all of the printing is localized, meaning if you're in Georgia and you order a print on our service, it will go to someone in Georgia. If you're in New York, and it will go to a printer in New York. So the printing is all local. And then what this allows us to do is have cheaper production, meaning all these units of these 101 jobs are able to be done by people in the community rather than in factories and warehouses, keeping costs down for startups who may be prototyping or working on one-of-one kind of ideas. And it also allows us to have higher volume. Because we have all these printers around the country, we can kind of use them in unison to get large productions out. So a lot of how we get our printers kind of work is how we partner with schools and libraries to get work for our 3D printers. So for example, we work with the Henderson Libraries here in Las Vegas, and we partner with them and say, hey guys, we're gonna offer all this 3D printing for you guys so you guys don't have to do it in-house, and then it goes to someone in the community, and then that person will then drop it off to the library. And we also work with schools in the same sense as libraries, and so a lot of schools will have 3D modeling classes or whatever, and we will perform the 3D printing and drop it off at the school for the class. And then lastly, we work with kind of businesses. So for example, we work with a lot of promotional companies who want to offer 3D printed keychains with logos, or kind of these game shops who want like D&D figures or whatever. So we do all of the printing and then drop it off at those businesses. And then we also offer just-in-time manufacturing. So a lot of manufacturers are moving here to the US because of many reasons, but we perform this manufacturing so they don't have to have any inventory storage. They don't have to have these giant warehouses keeping all the storage. And we also help them cut costs, not only by inventory, but because it's done domestically, there's no tariffs or any sort of tax of doing it internationally, which is helping businesses right now in this current state. And there's no loss of IP. So when you send something to China, the international laws don't really protect you. So if someone takes your design and sells it on Alibaba, there's nothing you can really do to prevent that. So that's why people would like to keep it domestic, and we allow for that. Now, the problems, there's a lot. So quality control. Obviously, we are a separated, undivided kind of manufacturing service. So a lot of how we deal with quality control is, number one, is every time someone in our network makes something, they have to take multiple pictures of the item, and then we have those on record to verify that they're actually doing a good job. and then we will kick people off who are not meeting our standards. And all of these standards are laid out in a document, what is acceptable, what is not acceptable, and then this is regularly monitored by us, so then people who are not meeting standards are no longer getting jobs. Now, we also have demand problems. So obviously we have all these 3D printers. How do we keep them busy? Because these people on our platform, they've joined and they're expecting to make money off of our platform. And so a lot of how we do keep demand is, number one, we have retainer partnerships. So our average library right now is getting 50 to 100 orders a month. And that will keep local, that'll keep the local printers very happy. And we try to gauge for around 10 to 15 orders a month per person on our platform, just to keep them satisfied. And then we also have SEO. SEO is kind of what we're working on right now these days. It is bringing in a significant amount of our orders through our print farms and people who are looking for mass production and drop shipping kind of style of services. Now, pricing. Obviously, people with 3D models, you can literally create anything. So how we determine pricing without having to do a one-on-one interaction with everyone is we have a pricing calculator. So people will drop in their 3D model, and then this will automatically determine the size, the complexity, and then from here they would select which material. Are they looking for a carbon fiber? Are they looking for a plastic? And then from there it will give them a price, and then they never have to talk to any representatives or anything, and they can go directly to somebody without us even engaging. Now, recruitment. So because we're looking for 3D printers all the time in all these different communities, a lot of how we get our recruitment of 3D printers is a lot of it's organic. We're telling these people, hey, we're going to give you money for being on our platform. You're going to get jobs. So a lot of it is organic, word of mouth. People on Reddit, they talk about us. Hey, here's in the Beer Money Reddit or whatever. People are saying, here's how we make money, and here's kind of that. But then we can also go into a local community and look up 3D printing shops in the area and just call them up and say, hey, we're actually a complement to your business. We're going to give you work, and would you like to join? And it's a pretty high success rate because there's almost no downside. We're just offering to give you more work, and you can use your existing infrastructure. Now, the people and printers. This is the most, this is the problem, right? So we are decentralized in the sense where everyone is an own independent contractor, just like an Uber or a Lyft. Everyone has their own autonomy and control. So if printers go out a lot, right? If you have a printer, it gets clogged or whatever, some malfunction, people have the option to cancel all their orders and it will go to someone else in the community. So that's how we kind of pick up slack. And we always try to have redundancy in areas. And then also online, offline. So if someone is going on vacation for a month or whatever and they want to opt out of the platform, they can simply just toggle it and not have to speak to anyone. And then they are completely opted out of getting orders for that time frame. Now, illegal items. So,
hold on, I'm going to interject.
Yes.
I was one of Intagly's first clients. And I said, can I print a gun? And Levitt said, is it legal? And I said, well, it is. And he said, okay. And then he did some more research. Anyway, go on.
Yes. So, as I said, you can literally print anything. And I mean anything. So, there are some items that you can technically, possess the 3D model for, but we will not print. Gun receivers happen to be in that bucket where, we'll print the scope for your gun, we'll print the grip, we'll print all these attachments, but we will not print the receiver where the serial number goes, because that is considered a ghost gun and that is highly illegal in most states. So what we do is we have an AI technology that will automatically convert that 3D model into a whole bunch of images, and it will take a look at it and say, hey, does it look like all these illegal things over here, like the guns? And it will say, hey, no, this is going to have to be rejected, and it will not go to anybody. So it won't go to any 3D printers because it's been detected as being illegal, so we don't accidentally 3D print any guns. So now what? Just like any good business person, the graph is always up and to the right. Grow. So we've already had this platform. We already have tons of operators at this point. We have over 500 printers in our network, and we have a wait list of almost 1,000 people at this point waiting to join and hop on. We do cap how many people can join just so we can keep demand and keep our people happy. That's the most important thing, is making sure if someone's on our platform that they're not sitting there going, I'm not getting any work, and leave. So right now, our biggest thing is getting more customers, getting more of those retainer relationships like the libraries and schools, and getting those more manufacturing jobs who are like, hey, I need 100 car parts a month, and scaling our partnerships. And that's it.
All right, now before anybody has any questions, there's a little bit of a housekeeping thing. I know you think I'm just a good-looking guy that hosts this. There's actually things I have to do. One of them is no one on the internet is going to hear your question unless I bring this mic over. So now I saw some hands raised. Okay, we're going to start with Sonny over here.
Thank you. I had a quick question. So what's the outlook looking like in terms of quality of size and material for 3D printers? I know in the future at some point you can print like car parts and things like that and metal. Is it mostly plastic, and what is the limitations currently? And I assume things will only get better and more diverse as time goes on.
Yeah. So right now on our highest end materials, we're usually looking at about carbon fiber, right? Okay. If you're looking for metal or aluminum or something, we usually recommend CNC machining, which is a completely different technology. But we stick to carbon fibers, plastics, nylons, kind of even wood-filled filament, but like that is kind of our group. And then in terms of sizes, we stay under that 16 inches by 16 inches, because at that point, once you get much bigger, 3D printing is no longer a scalable model. It's at that point, it's much more, purposeful to go to like a mold or something.
So would you say that a really big industry would be startups needing their hardware prototypes?
Yeah, so we do a lot of prototyping. So people would use us for rapid prototyping. They'll have a 3D model design, they'll send it in, they'll have it in a few days, and then they'll send us an iteration. And those are repeat customers because they may go through 10 or 15 iterations with us.
Two quick ones. What is the onboarding process for a business or person with printer look like? And then how has this worked with the convention industry where they have a lot of last minute things?
Yeah. So for the printer onboarding process, really all they do is they go to the App Store, they download our app, and then what they're going to do is they're going to tell us what printers they have, so we know the sizes, and then they're going to tell us what materials they have, and then from there, we're going to either accept them or they're going to go on our wait list to wait, depending on their location and printer sizes and everything. And then once they're accepted off the wait list, they have to submit 2 test items. And all they're doing is they're going to print those 2 items, they're going to send some pictures in, and we're going to look at the quality and say, is this person meeting these standards laid out like we talked about earlier, or they're not, and then we go to the next person. And so then the convention part. So being a Vegas startup, we obviously serve the Vegas Strip and all of the conventions that come with it. So we've been doing a lot of things with the convention, especially like you said, last minute pieces. People come in for CES or SHOT convention or whatever, and they have all these prototypes, and then some things get lost, some things get broken in flight or whatever. And so we've been serving the conventions like that by doing same day delivery and all that. And because all of the printers are local, doing same day delivery is very possible because the person is 5 minutes down the road and not in China.
And who does the delivery is the question being asked.
Good question. So in a standard format, it's UPS. They just drop it off at the UPS. We give them a UPS label, and then the printer would just go to the nearest UPS store. But on an expedite, the printer is compensated for driving to the destination and dropping it off, kind of like a Uber Eats kind of style.
All right, we've got another. Now this is a 3D printed mic holder as well.
Thank you. How do you do quality on products that you've never printed before? How do you know what standards to follow?
What do you mean?
There's a product you've never printed before. How do you figure out the standards?
So yeah, in our standard guidelines, we have a list of like about 5 or 7 general things. We talk about, how clean and smooth and how, extra material, and we talk about stringing and all that stuff. So almost every item, I would say about 80% of our items are completely unique, like one of one items, like you said, prototyping or whatever. So operators are not seeing the same item over and over unless they're on our manufacturing kind of on-demand service. But so most items people are interacting with, that's the first time they're ever looking at that item. And so our guidelines are very broad in terms of the expectations, as if we're not looking for quality control on one item, we're talking about major things like making sure it's smooth and making sure there's no sharp edges or anything like that.
Okay, what's the biggest thing you can print?
So right now, our biggest thing is about 16 by 16. And that's just because we're trying to be an economical, low, one-of-one custom shop.
Yeah, I get it. Thank you.
How do you take fees or make money on Intagly?
Yeah. So I mean, it's distributed. So when an order comes in, we obviously handle the transaction and give the order, and so we just pay the printer business a percentage of what the customer is paying us. So we're making a percentage on every order. It's transactional based.
What are the expectations from somebody who's printing? Like I have 4 or 5 3D printers laying around that don't work a whole lot right now. I mean, sometimes when I'm doing stuff, right? I mean, what are the expectations? Do I have to stock, 20 different colors, PLAs? What am I expected to have for you?
Yeah. So when you sign up, you put in your materials and you put in your printers, and then from there we look at that and we go, is this someone we want in our network, right? If we're looking for people who have pink carbon fiber, for example, like some niche material, we'll add you on, and then you will only get items that you put in your profile. So if you don't have purple PLA, for example, we're not going to send you something in purple and expect you to buy it. So you put in what you have, and then we only send you what you state us.
I got 2 last questions.
Do you have a list of different colors and products that you can print with?
Yeah.
We
So
can stock.
So on our calculator, we list about, I think at this point, about 10 materials, everything from like PLA plastic to like carbon fiber to ABS resin, and then in each one of those, we're just going off rainbow colors, plus gray and black and white.
Are you enforcing local only, and why?
So it depends. So obviously, if you're in Georgia and you go, I want pink carbon fiber, and there's no pink carbon fiber in Georgia, we're going to look for someone in our network who has that, but we try to aim for local first. So we try to look for, and it's really shipping costs and time, so you can get it quicker and you can be cheaper. But if you're looking for something very niche and we don't have that in Georgia, but we have it in New Mexico, we're going to send that order to just whoever we have. But we prioritize local first.
When creating a prototype, how do you safeguard to protect the customer's intellectual property?
So yes, so when someone goes through the prototype process, so when you make the order, you can actually mark what it's for, and you can mark prototype or, is this a fun project? And so we actually have certified operators who are just for, that kind of consumer level business type. And we make sure that they're the only ones who ever get that printer. So like you were saying, if someone's in Georgia and they order something, but we don't have a certified person in Georgia to handle that, we're going to send that to someone who's been vetted by us and certified. And they achieve that by multiple things. Number one, they have to do 10 orders with us on time and no issues. And then we also have to vet them to make sure that they understand the requirements, and they have to sign additional agreements.
Okay, we have one final question. Okay. Final question.
When I'm placing an order, is it like an Uber? It's going to tell me this one's going to be here at this date, this one's going to be here at this date, and I can pick the provider that I want, or the ride?
No, we abstract that. So you just submit the order and it goes to somebody.
But like, how do I know, like if I need it on Tuesday and you're going to have to take it out of state, that's transparent when I'm putting the order in, that this is how it would need to work?
Yeah, so we give you an estimate. I mean, by the time you get to checkout, we know what material you want, what everything. We just don't tell you who it is, but we give you an estimate on delivery based on those factors. We just don't let you, it doesn't show you who's printing it.
It's more about the timing of
it.
All right, big round of applause for Zach. So ahead of time, I tell the fine gentlemen that are presenting to hand the mic off. So that's what's happening right now. It's very exciting. Now you know all this stuff. This is my 3D printed talking stick. It's handy. So this next presentation, I'm going to poke him in the ribs a little bit. I met Jorge about 1.5 years ago. And then I emailed him, and I never heard back. I'm sure it's the outlier. But he's got an exciting platform he's going to share with us here. He presented at the Who's Got My Money, or he hosted it this morning, so he knows all about how the projector works. So we're going to let him get all situated. But how about that? Isn't it nice to have Intagly right here in Las Vegas? Big round of applause. For those who don't know, I'm toxically positive about Las Vegas. I'm just here for it. And so I love having stuff to brag about. We've got some really cool companies here. And the number one thing I like about Las Vegas is the people. It's a fun town. We like to be encouraging, even if people don't respond to our emails. It's okay. It's okay.
I meant to respond.
He meant to. Oh, okay. Well, if he meant to, so I'll brag on one person who's not here right now.
Please.
His name's James Ritchie with JewelFit. I'm gonna tell you something. So he's got this really cool startup, great tech. You can get all of the exercise you need in 2 15-minute sessions a week. Isn't that nice? I tried one of his 5 machines about a week or two ago at an event at Blackfire, and this isn't medical advice or anything, but I have a 20-year shoulder injury that was 90% better after spending 90 seconds on one of these machines. So right here in Vegas, everybody, it's just happening. It's a cool town. It's not just for gambling and debauchery. Innovation happens here too. So, all right, Jorge, are you ready?
I'm pretty much ready. Yeah.
All right, well, he's just about ready. So while he's doing that, I'll share one other thing. I love Sin City, I do. I love the debauchery, the acceptance of things. My dad, he says, man, isn't this my dad's a very devout Mormon. He says, I don't know, Sin City, it sounds like it's full of maybe some not so great things. I go, Dad, I see what you're saying, but first of all, we believe in individual agency. People should do as they believe. And also, it's the marriage capital of the fucking world. We got the whole world trying to tear families apart. Here we are just making more families every day. People come from all over the world. My dad goes, all right, yeah. Anyway, more of my toxic positivity. And with that, Jorge, let's hear it.
Good morning, guys. Good morning. Who was here for the Who's Got My Money session? So you guys heard my spiel. Thank you guys for coming back. Who was not here for that session? Okay, so half and half. So I think it's important. Where is Martin? You saw my pitch. I didn't know it was going to be a pitch. Is it a pitch or a demo?
It's whatever you want it to be. It's demo time.
Okay,
it's magic.
I'm going to show you guys a quick video of the company. Can just give you an overview. Then I'll do a quick pitch, and then I'm going to dive into the actual platform. Does that sound good? Okay.
Have you ever dreamed of starting a business or supporting a cause that matters to you, but didn't know where to start? You're not alone. Each year, millions set out to make a difference, launch a business, or support causes close to their hearts. Yet, without the time, guidance, or support of community, too many give up way too soon. That's why we created OLLiN. OLLiN empowers purpose-driven change makers to bring their ideas, businesses, and causes to life by combining live crowdfunding community support and AI-driven guidance on a single dynamic platform. Our mission is simple: to be the launchpad for mission-driven changemakers and aspiring entrepreneurs around the world. Don't miss your chance to join this powerful movement. Let's make a lasting impact and change the world with OLLiN.
All right, so that was a quick overview of OLLiN. Let me dive into the presentation. Okay, so quick overview. So my name is Jorge Raziel. I'm the founder and CEO of OLLiN, OLLiN.com. I've been an entrepreneur for 15 years. Over the years, I started my journey as a structural engineer. Over the years, I built many companies, $30 million plus in revenue, 20,000 customers in 50 countries. And one of the things that I learned along the way is that people are always constantly having ideas. Who knows somebody that has an idea for a business, a product, an innovation, something, and they haven't yet started it or launched it yet? Raise your hand. Okay, look around. Look around. I'm not the only one. Over years of traveling to more than 40 countries and speaking to entrepreneurs in Australia and Europe, all throughout Latin America and Southeast Asia, one of the things that I noticed is that people, human beings everywhere, have dreams, and many of those dreams are entrepreneurial dreams. People have aspired to one day be a business owner, one day have their own company, one day create a product or service that helps others, that generates revenue and success for themselves and for their families. And one of the things that I noticed in my 10 years of having a marketing agency was that people that start this journey of entrepreneurialism and start a business typically run into an issue. They don't have a community. They don't have somebody that they can sell to. They don't have somebody that's going to support them. They don't have a tribe. Yet you see people that are influencers that have tens of thousands of people following them. They launch a product and all of a sudden they have sales overnight. Yes? You see the difference? Some people have followings and have community and have people that know who they are and they have success. Other people that are just starting out struggle to build that community out. So, a bit about myself. One of the problems another thing that I'm doing this year, finalizing my doctorate in business from the Swiss School in Business and Management. And my research specifically is around Gen Zers and persisting through the early ventures in the digital age. What that means is that there's Gen Zers walking around, there's over 1 billion of them that want to become entrepreneurs at some point in their lifetime, and they're spending an average of 10 hours a day consuming content online, mostly on their phones, on social media, on social platforms. And what we found, the research is showing, is that 144 million people in the US alone had an idea to start a business last year and didn't. And some people that were surveyed, Zapier did a survey of a couple thousand people, and they found that the majority of them said that they didn't start that journey because they thought they lacked capital, or 2, because they didn't know how to get started, or 3, they didn't have the support they needed. And out of the people that do start that journey, and we know how hard that journey is, and they start using platforms like Facebook, like Instagram, like TikTok and Snapchat to try to promote their brand, promote their business, promote this new idea that they have. 65% of them are not seeing traction on these platforms when it comes to building community, for the basic fact that 1, nobody knows them, and 2, the engagement algorithms in these platforms are 1 to 2% right now. So even your own friends and family that follow you don't necessarily see all your content because they follow hundreds of other people, and the algorithms are set so that they can maximize ad revenue. So that's a huge problem. And the problem is that people have these ideas and they're not launching them. And if they do launch them, they're struggling to gain some traction. And that's why we created OLLiN. OLLiN, talk about oh, I think I skipped one. 1 second. So if you think about the crowdfunding space, and I talked about this in our earlier session, there's a lot of competitors out there. Does anybody know Patreon or use Patreon? Right? How is the user experience for Patreon? Does that work? Do you guys have subscribers? So Patreon is a very successful company because they're now worth about $4 billion, and they've generated hundreds of millions of dollars in revenue for their users. But again, if you don't have a community to sell to, you don't have people that are going to subscribe to your services, you're going to go on there and not have a lot of traction. Patreon is one of our direct competitors, mainly because they are a platform that allows for creators to be able to start getting subscribers to their community. Another competitor of ours is what we know as GoFundMe. GoFundMe being the largest crowdfunding platform on the world. If you think about GoFundMe, many of you might say that's made for emergencies, right? One-time emergencies, somebody passes, somebody's in a hospital, they're trying to raise funds. Who's used GoFundMe before for anything, right? But technically, if you look at their website, on their homepage, they promote that they're a crowdfunding platform for anything. Businesses, nonprofits, but most people only use it for one-time events. And then you look at other platforms like the Kickstarters, like the Reddits. Who uses Reddit here? Super popular with younger generation. It's a text-based community app, right? People create posts based on a category, based on a topic, and then people can come in and respond to it, and you start basically creating a communication thread that is based on that particular topic. So we're looking at these competitors as platforms that are providing value to our users, but nobody's actually serving the aspiring entrepreneur the way that I envision. OLLiN is a live crowdfunding platform that leverages AI to help people that are starting this idea, starting a business, supporting a cause, all into one platform. We're also leveraging the best of social media, so we have all the social media features. We have the ability to be able to get community feedback. So and we're going to walk through that demo right now, is you can get some feedback in a rating format. If somebody has, you invite your friends and family to check out something that you want to do or work on, they'll be able to give you that feedback right on the project page. Okay, so who here has an idea? I think I've asked this question before, but who has an idea that would benefit right now from getting some feedback, one. Two, potentially getting some people involved and excited about what you're doing. Whether it's for a book or a cause, a business in the future, you're not sure what it is yet, but you want to start talking about it, you want to start getting some traction, raise your hand. Okay, if you do, take out your phone and scan that QR code. Yeah, try it again. I really want to see what you get.
I tried it again over lunch.
There it is.
Get started.
I don't think you can sign up.
Not again. Okay. Try get started.
No, launch days complete without a failure.
I know, right? This is exciting. Yeah, click on log in with your Gmail or with your Google account, or any. Who? Let me know if somebody gets it all the way through. Just so you guys know, today, this morning is the very first time that I'm announcing our beta being live. It's by invitation only. I know somebody ran into some issues already. If you run into issues, it's okay, right? But I'd love to show you guys what the platform actually looks like.
So are you sure that the issues aren't AI indicating that it's a bad idea already?
Nope. I am 100% certain of that.
Thanks, man.
Okay. Anybody else? And it's bad timing because my CTO is in Peru right now. So it worked. It worked on yours? It worked. Server? Wow, you're on server error. Okay.
I didn't validate.
The programmer meetups after this one.
Yeah. I'm gonna need your help. Can I take back my not responding to your email?
We're here now. I forgive easy.
Okay. All right, guys. So take a look at the platform. Everybody see it?
This is what it would look like if it wasn't.
Okay. So this is our beta. I want to do a couple comparisons here. If you go to Kickstarter, right? Who has supported a project on Kickstarter? All right. So obviously they have some metrics here that they can show off. You come here, you're either looking for a project or somebody's sending you to a link, right? Right. So let's pick a project, technology, since we're talking about technology a lot. Right? You look at these projects. Some of these projects are raising quite a bit of funds, like this one, $300,000 already. So what we did is we wanted to make sure that we had the ability to crowdfund for a project and utilize features that are familiar with users. So if you look at our platform, right now you come into the home page, you can see the commercial, you can see some of the projects, you can click on Discover, you can look at the projects that are live. I launched a project this morning. This project is from did a short video from my home office. But this is the home page of the project itself. And this is what we're trying to do. So when somebody launches an idea, the idea is not fully formed yet. It might change. So what we're doing in our platform is allowing for anybody to come in, and essentially when you create an account, you have a profile. This profile is essentially a social account. In here, we're going to be adding an about section, but right now what you see here is my projects and projects that I've supported. You can also create a new project. When you click on create a new project, you go through these basic information. What is the name of my project, or the idea that I have, the tagline, the description, how much am I trying to raise, what is my goal funding amount, do I want to go live now or later in the future, how long is my campaign, or is it going to be on demand? If you want to be ongoing, if there's like no specific timeline. You also talk about the story, like what is the story behind your idea? Like how'd you come up with that idea? Is there a video or image that describes that? And the FAQs that are pertinent. This is what's great about it. Once you launch a project, let me finish this first. The gift pack is the reward. What do you want to give to your supporters? Like, you can get creative on this. If it's a book, I'm selling a physical copy or a signed copy. If it's going to be a software, I'll give you a discount. I'll give you first access. If it's going to be a physical product, I can give you the first batch, one of the first items that I produce. If it's going to be an event, I'll give you exclusive access if you support this early on. etc., etc. It's up to the creator to decide what the give back is. Who's part of your team? You can decide to add team members as collaborators or owners right now. And then you go to the launch pad, make sure everything's checked off, you agree to the terms, and then you launch. Once you launch on our system, right now, since we're building out the algorithm to verify projects automatically, we manually just make sure that there's nothing inappropriate, and then we just approve them. When you have a project and you go to your profile, you click on here, there's a little settings icon. This settings icon will take you to your dashboard. This dashboard is what tells me the support amount. There was a $50 support amount earlier today. In here I can tell how many project followers I have, how many supporters I have, what's the total support amount. I can look at my team members. What I wanted to show you is that I can come back and edit the project, because as the idea evolves, if you have questions in the community section of the project, so if we go to the actual project itself, right, you can showcase the project. Of course, I have a video here of me speaking.
Hi, my name is Jorge Raziel.
I'm talking about my book. I have a couple images here. I have a description of the book itself. In the community section, you can comment. All of this is fully functional. You can upvote the comment, right? So think about it think about it if it was your idea and you're inviting your friends and family to come in here. You can upvote it. You can reply to the comment. You can have an update section. So the updates essentially is like, hey, like if you're making progress and you want to record a short video for your community, you would come into your project settings and upload an update, and then the update would show up here as a video or an image, and with the description and the ability for your community to be able to communicate with you. And FAQs is, as comments and questions are being asked in your community, it's to the benefit of the project creator to have an FAQ that's relevant to the users. And again, the idea here is that it's not project-based, it's individual-based. So if you have a project that you care about that is related to a book that you're writing, or you have a software that you want to develop, or you have a physical product, or you want to raise some funds for a cause, you can have all those projects and things inside of your profile. It's not just the one project, and you can come back later and create another project. You can come in and edit the project existing. You can do live streaming. One of the big features on our platform is the ability for me to live stream. If I come in here, once you're logged in, I want to go live. I would go live, and immediately, because I only have one project, it takes me to this page where I would select the webcam, add a description to that, and then here it is, right? I'm in here. Once I go live, and again, I'm only using my phone as a hotspot, see if it works. The broadcast being prepared, it goes live. What happens then, so now that I'm streaming, there's a chat bot here, right? So I imagine that you're communicating with your audience, wherever they're at. You're letting them know, like, hey, what's going on with your project? What are the latest updates for your book, for the cause you want to support? You can live stream at any point to give your community an update. And then you can come into a project itself, and then obviously you can see here that I'm live. And I can click in here from a different account, and I can click on here. Right, and I can actually see I'm interacting with another account. I'm live, and this is my viewer. I'm a supporter of this project, and I can view in here what's going on. Then once I'm ready to end my project or end my live, I stop streaming. I can see the viewers here, the followers, how many supporters I have for my project, how many messages. You can start seeing the stats of what's going on within your project. And I keep saying project because before you launch a business, the idea is first launch a project, start building a community around it, validate it. Then at some point, start a business if you're ready to fully commit to it. So that's the streaming's ending. On this side here, once the stream ends, it goes back to the project page. What happens here is that in the next minute or so, I'll go to the updates, and here's my update. My live streams become updates. And I can come in here and actually see the update or the stream that I just did in the update section. Are you guys seeing? How does it look? So yeah, I want to open it up to questions, but that's the demo. Thank you guys. All right, questions? Yeah.
Hold up.
Hold on.
If you do not have the talking stick,
Yeah.
See, this is a 3D printed talking stick available at Intagly from your local providers.
My bad. So what if I wanted to utilize this for running a beta test, an expanded beta test? Is it always centric to how much people have supported it? The first thing's going to come up is always the price. What if I just wanted to build a community around a beta test?
Yeah, so a great point and a great feedback. So one of the ideas right now that we're going to be testing is, what if you don't want to crowdfund? Crowdfunding I talked about in the previous session, that's just a feature, right? So what if you want to just send people to another page or just have the no crowdfunding component? We'll allow for that to be toggled when you're creating the project. Because the most important part here that I think for the platform, and we're going to be testing this, is going to be creating a community around an idea. Whether you crowdfund for it or you send people somewhere else, you can live here, you can live stream in the platform, you can build community around the ideas that you care about. It's a great question.
I had a quick question. So is there like a public way to browse different things? This feels like what QVC should have been for entrepreneurs, online at least. And it's like, if I just want to in general support entrepreneurs, is there like a page where I could just browse current live streams and things like that?
Yeah, so in the Discover section, so that's a great point. In this section here, the idea is that people will be able to look for projects that they care about and categories that they care about, and gamify the process of like just finding cool projects that you care about based on who you are as a person. So one of the things in our profile, we're going to be creating a section so people can tell us more about who they are, so that when we show up the homepage or people are browsing the Discover section, they can find projects that resonates with them and their interest. So that's really extremely important. And 100%, we're looking at the Reddit model as, the amount of data that's going from Reddit to Google, and Reddit pages showing up on Google searches is astronomical. And we want to, of course, be able to leverage that as well as we start building more communities inside of the platform. Yeah.
Hi.
Hi.
In the prior session, you talked about different types of crowdfunding. So you just said now that you don't have to do crowdfunding at all, but does this allow for different types, like you said in the prior session, it's donation-based or reward-based, et cetera?
Yeah, 100%. So, great question. In your project, when you launch a project, what you have the opportunity to do is do one or two things. We're not an equity-based crowdfunding platform. We're not SEC regulated. I didn't want to go into that because we're going after the masses. SEC regulation and crowdfunding and the legal requirements to make that happen, the average person, it doesn't resonate with that, doesn't need that. They want something that's easy to use, that's social, that's fun. So we're not doing equity crowdfunding, but we are doing reward-based crowdfunding and also donation-based. So what will happen in here on this particular project, which is my future book, the OLLiN code, is a physical copy for $25 is one of my give backs. So if somebody supports $25, they'll get a physical copy or a $50 signed copy. If I come here and I want to support the project, you have the opportunity to select an amount. The amount itself is, does it work? Oh, 1 second. The amount itself is, if you support without having a specific amount, it's loading. If you support without having a specific amount, it's considered a donation. So in our platform, we have a donation-based support and we also have reward-based. It's up to the creator to decide what rewards they want to do and get creative with that, but they can also do donation-based support as well. So thank you for that.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
All right, multitude of questions.
Okay.
The fee, how much are you charging for this?
So we are testing between a GoFundMe model and a Kickstarter, so Patreon model. Patreon charges 8% on their transactions. Who can agree with that if you guys are using Patreon? So we're starting with a 7%. Right now in our beta, Stripe Connect, which is the platform that we're using for payment processing, they charge us fees on the back end for using their connection. So it's not even the processing fees alone. They're charging us on the back end $2 per month per user for just sending money to the user. So the 7% will cover that. But we're also going to be A/B testing between a flat fee and then what if we don't charge anything to our creators and we create a tipping culture in our platform for you supporters to tip our platform for just making the platform available for creators, and we charge a 0% fee for the creators. So we're going to be testing both.
So the 7%, if you go that route, does include the merchant fees as well?
It includes our fees. It doesn't include the processing fees.
Okay, so it would be
processing fees from
7%
Stripe-
plus the 3% from Stripe.
Yeah, the
or whatever.
2.9% plus 30
Yeah.
cents per transaction that Stripe charges, that still comes out of the support amount.
Okay. On the live stream piece, is that able to be pushed to Facebook, Instagram?
That is the plan. Not currently with our beta, but that is in the works.
Okay.
To be able to share the live stream into YouTube or Facebook.
Would we
or
be
other-
able to pull it into like a StreamYard or something like that to do that right away?
I like StreamYard's capabilities, and we're looking at that example for what it can do on the back end. But because we're building everything in-house, it's not going to be as sophisticated as StreamYard right off the back, but we are going to create a share button to make sure that you can share your live stream into other platforms.
Would there be a like an RTP or something like that, so you could just take that and just drop it into whatever?
Yeah,
You were
right
gonna ask
now
that, weren't you?
we have the capabilities of doing. Right now we have the capabilities of doing a webcam, or we also have the capabilities of the streaming softwares that Twitch is familiar with. Yes, sir.
So this is the beta. When do you anticipate the actual launch?
I anticipate the actual launch maybe in the fall of this year, and that's all dependent on both capital raising and user, and what our user feedback is. Because we're building out the mobile app still, we still need to test out different niches to figure out who our target audience is. We have an idea, it serves a lot of people, but we're doing a lot of testing, and the testing is going to come from advertising, which I talked about earlier. My years of experience in advertising allowed me to be able to just test out a lot of different ads, a lot of different marketing hooks, messages, to figure out what's going to resonate with our audience, and fine-tune all that and the mobile app before we launch officially. So right now, you guys are, again, the very first people that are hearing about it. Told friends and family about it, and we're just launched this morning. And of course, over the next few weeks, we're going to have a couple hundred people on the platform, but that's about it. We're going to keep it small, fine-tune it, continue building the technology before we go and do an official launch. Yeah, great question.
How
Yes,
much
ma'am.
capital do you need? And you said you just launched this program this morning, or this platform this morning?
Yeah.
And how many people are on it right now?
So I launched this morning. I've invested $200,000 to get to this point on the technology. I have 5 developers, a UI UX designer, and so forth. I'm currently raising a $750,000 pre-seed round that I might do in batches. So I have already $250,000 committed, looking for another $250,000 with a $25,000 minimum, $6 million post money evaluation, racing on safes, if you're asking. And honestly, we don't have users. I have 2 email lists of about 50,000 people that we're going to blast. I'm going to start doing some geo-targeting advertising for the platform, not everywhere. I'm probably just going to focus on Southern California because that's my market, my CTO's market. We understand it. There's diversity. I'm from there. So we're going to see how the market responds before we start expanding. Yeah. Great question.
Are you able to push the cost to the people donating?
Well, the idea of the tipping culture is that if you go to a restaurant, or people understand tipping in the U.S., right? Tipping is around 15 to 20% on average. So Kickstarter charges 5%, Patreon charges 8%. Tipping on average, if you go to a GoFundMe, I don't know if you guys have seen it, but the default tip is like 18% or 17%. So we're going to be testing to maximize revenue, but also give the best experience for our creators and users. We are okay with either because that is not our only form of revenue. As we build out a user base, we'll have maybe some premium SaaS software tools for more sophisticated project creators that have larger audiences. And then we also will have project boosting fees later on once the community gets large enough, and which technically the advertising revenue from that is going to be our biggest source of revenue, but that won't come for another 2 years. Yeah.
Over here.
Yes, sir.
Just wanted to ask about your product roadmap. Is it based on the markets you choose to go into, or are there certain features on your roadmap that you're planning to build out?
Yeah, there's several very innovative features that we're building into the platform already. I'll mention some. Like if you think about the community aspect, well, one of the things that we're using as a North Star for our platform is higher engagement than current social media platforms and higher authenticity. Right now, social media, and again, I don't want to bash any company, but just I think you guys would agree that influencers are disseminating content, and then there's people consuming content, and there's not a lot of relationships being built. So we're trying to figure out how we can change our platform so that there's more community and a higher engagement. That's driving our features and driving what we do from a gamification standpoint, but also we also want to make sure that when somebody comes in, if they're interested in literature projects or technology projects, that's the kind of experience that they see on the platform. So we're very much focused on capturing more user data, making sure we're tracking the right data on the platform, and then tailoring the algorithm so that the search bar and what's displayed on the Discover page is tailored to the user. So that's what we're targeting. But of course, the data for more features later on will guide us on other product roadmaps that we don't currently have. We have the next 6 months kind of laid out already. Yeah.
All right, big round of applause.
Thank you, guys.
Big round of applause. Give me that mic, my friend. Give me that mic. All right, so as you guys can obviously tell, there's nothing going on in Las Vegas in tech. We have no ideas here, and we're not. Oh wait, actually, we're kind of kicking ass. So, look, it's not an easy thing to come up and present something that you put your blood, your sweat, and tears into. So let's have another round of applause for these people. We are a supportive community here. Now, the last thing we do at demo time is the easiest thing for me to do as the host, which is you all talk to each other. So the last 15 minutes or so here, we just, look, we've talked about some ideas, we've asked each other some questions, we're getting to know each other, we're a community. So with that, thank you for attending demo time, and the rest of the time is yours to chat with each other.